Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Charles Advancement. Welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show. We cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And folks, we got a hell of a show for y'all. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and sub to the channel. So, you know how you got this campaign of, these NBA guys that run around telling, oh man, why they always criticizing the modern era? Why they always criticizing the modern era? Why don't they just accept the fact that this is a great era? Or another one, man, this is the greatest era we've ever seen. Players today are skilled beyond belief. Man, this is incredible. You're watching the most skilled players we've ever seen. And people like myself have always called baloney on it. We've even had pseudo-intellectuals like Legend of Winning, Winnie the Pooh. Man, this the most, ever. And start hollering and screaming like I said that mean a damn thing. And I've always said you guys cannot categorically explain your positions. This is the most athletic era of all time. They have zero proof to back up what they claim. All they have is, well, they shoot threes and they make layups. And then you get to the playoffs and all of a sudden that disappears. And we're going to get to that in a little bit. So I want to give credit where credit is due. I came across a video from my man Too Raw for TV. And the name of the video was called LeBron Wants the NBA to Cater to His Wishes Once Again. So I click on the video. And he's responding to a conversation that he had with Steve Nash on his channel, where he was essentially talking about the contrast between the way the game is refereed in the regular season versus how it's refereed in the playoffs and how the playing styles change, right? And as he's talking and I'm listening to it, Terrell is making one point. And as I'm listening, I'm like, man, this dude is just exposing this era. But it's only going to make sense to you after you guys actually hear what LeBron said. But before we even get into his comments, today's video is brought to you by our sponsor, PrizePicks. PrizePicks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports with over 10 million members. PrizePicks makes it easy to get real money action on the sports and players you love. You pick more or less on at least 2 for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. For example, this week on PrizePicks, I'm looking at the upcoming NBA schedule and selecting Stephen Curry for more than 29 points and Kevin Durant for more than 27 points and Anthony Davis for more than 12 rebounds and Luka Doncic for more than 8 assists. If you're like me and you like to play it safe, you'll love PrizePicks' new feature, Flex Plays. It's the safest way to play. You can still cash out even if your lineup isn't perfect. Plus, you can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. On top of this, PrizePicks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money as quick as in 15 minutes. So download the PrizePicks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code CLNS on PrizePicks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. And remember, whenever you support this sponsor, you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So what we want to do is we want to play exactly what LeBron had to say here to Steve Nash. I want you guys to listen to it, and we're going to come back and continue on. Take a listen to LeBron James here.
One thing is, like, the playoffs are always going to be more physical, but I think they're generally the last 10, 15 years, it's a big contrast from the regular season to the playoffs.
Yeah, the first thing I want to say to that is, like, if they're going to allow it to be as physical as it is, you got to give us a little time to prepare for it.
So, like, post All-Star break, something like that.
I mean, post All-Star break is usually like 30 games left. Yeah. So maybe like, maybe 12 to 15 games left in the regular season. Okay, a month. Yeah. Give us a month to prepare for it because it goes from 0 to 100. It goes from us to be able to body check. No body check, no hand checking. No pushing a guy off their spot. Right. No rerouting guys at all.
Right.
For 8-9 months, and then or for 6.5, 7 months, and then
have at it.
2 months straight. Have at it.
Have at it.
Like straight up, just no holds barred, and it's fun.
Yeah, I don't think either of us have a problem with it.
We don't have a problem with it.
It's just a contrast.
It's just a contrast, of not being able to get into that flow. So yeah, it's definitely over the last like you said 10, 15 years, the game, they've allowed us to do it.
Yeah.
And it's fun. I personally wish we could do it all year.
Yeah.
But also have the body makeup for
Sure.
it to do it all year
Yeah.
too. So it wouldn't be beneficial to the product to do, run a marathon. Run a sprint
Right.
during a marathon.
Right.
So you heard what he had to say. I want to break it down for you guys. I told you it's very easy to win arguments with LeBron fans. They don't use logic. Some of them think like Winnie the Pooh, think they're using logic. They don't realize their logic is always flawed because there's always honey involved. There's always honey involved somewhere. So let's break this down. What have these guys told us? These are the most advanced set of players we've ever seen. They're more skilled and da-da-da-da-da. And I've always said, but wait a minute. Wait a minute. You're not talking about a serious factor, which is defense and how the game is played and how it's refereed. They don't even factor that in. These guys are so stupid. And I mean it. They're stupid. That's the only word. That's the only way to characterize them at this point. They are so stupid that they don't realize that on a daily basis they go out there and make arguments that hurt their thesis. They say this era is so skilled, right? With the freedom of movement and all. How do you think these guys are able to score the way that they do and get the type of buckets that they have and have the type of efficiency rates that they have today when they're not being grabbed and touched and blocked and impeded to the basket and not being fouled hard? And how do you don't you think that plays a role? So then, if you understand that intrinsically, like you claim you do, then wouldn't that tell you that if you increase the level of defense, you increase the level of physicality, you remove the freedom of movement, wouldn't you witness some of their percentages dwindle? Well, obviously, because that's what LeBron is talking about. Go look at the players that were efficient during the regular season. Go look at their numbers in the playoffs. I'll give you an example. Austin Reeves. What about the other series we had a few years ago when the Boston Celtics were able to play 90 defense on Kevin Durant? But Kevin Durant, blah, blah, blah. Kevin Durant, they put that dude in a straitjacket because they were actually able to play physical defense. So what LeBron is saying is this. He's essentially saying that the game is so lax that they actually let these guys just run around and nobody can touch anybody throughout the regular season. But when it gets to the playoffs, it becomes so much of a shock to their system that they need some type of window to ramp up to it. So let me figure this out. You're telling me that the players that play under lax rules and all of these things I just described are better than players that played under more restrictive conditions, yet that were still able to produce? I'm confused. How would that be the case? How would that be the case? How exactly would that be the case? I'm lost. If you and I are meant to run up a hill, and you have a 20 pound plate on your back, and I have a 45 pound plate on my back, and we're running basically at the same times, and we get up the hill, why would you be considered anything next to me when I had more of a burden on my back? I'm confused here. Or rather, you were able to run a little bit faster than me, but you don't factor in the fact that I was carrying twice the weight as you. I'm confused with you dudes. One joker even said to me, when I was talking about Kobe's averages in the 2001 playoffs, averaging like 29 something, they were like, there were no defenders back then. I'm like, I can't be seriously talking to somebody like this. The dude is averaging 29 in the playoffs while playing with Shaq, while playing in an era where teams were scoring less than 95 points a game. He didn't even know about a dude named Bruce, but he didn't know. Forget about that. I mean, his ignorance was beyond belief. So what LeBron is saying that he even said it at the end, these guys today are not as good as you think they are. It's the rules that make them look good. That is the reason why some of the bucket getters and all these guys that we think are nice, if you put them in the eras in the past, some of them wouldn't even be starters, bro. If we're keeping it a stack, some of them wouldn't even be starters. Some of them would not even be starters. He's admitting it. And then he told on himself at the end, if the game was too physical, it wouldn't help the product. That's a lie. We all know that's a lie. How do we know? Because we're witnessing record lows in ratings and the game isn't physical. And we were witnessing record high in ratings when the game was. So it's like they don't even know what their product needs. They don't even know. So I'm supposed to be convinced that, they talk about, Jordan played against plumbers and all of this stuff and all of this stuff and all of this stuff, but y'all out here playing against Barbie dolls. Kens. Y'all out here playing against a bunch of Kens. Like this is the cupcake era. And LeBron just proved it. They're so weak. They're like, can you give us a break so we can ramp up? Or matter of fact, let's change it. Can y'all just start to make it a little tougher so it's not too much of a shot? I thought y'all the greatest players that ever played. You don't need any of that. You don't need any of that. They're complaining about playoff basketball. Meanwhile, eras were doing that for entire seasons plus the playoffs. That's the fundamental difference with this era. It's trash. And I said it.